Hey y'all, welcome to Barlow BBQ. We're glad you're here. Today we got a real special guest. This is Barlow BBQ Senior. This is my dad, y'all.
It's good to be here. It's great. Hey. Great to be here in Asheville, North Carolina.
What are we going to do today?
We're making up some grilled meatloaf and a bourbon barbecue sauce to put on top of it. I'm the meatloaf maker in our house. I'm referred to as the Meatloaf Master.
Oh, the Meatloaf Master. Y'all stick around. It's going to be a good one.
The first thing we're going to do is start with our bourbon barbecue sauce. But actually the first thing I'm going to do is sample this bourbon.
Now today we're using some fine Four Roses bourbon.
A sample for everybody.
All right, y'all, cheers.
First thing we're going to start with is some ketchup. It's meatloaf, it's got a ketchup.
Next up, we've got some of this Rustlin' Rob's wild barbecue sauce. Now you're free to use whatever barbecue sauce you want to. This was actually sent to us by one of our dear viewers, Terry. Thank you so much. Here we go.
Terry.
We've already tried it out and it is a great barbecue sauce. So we're adding a half a cup of that.
And now we're going to use 1/3 cup of maple syrup.
Next up, we're going to use a heavy tablespoon of this Four Roses bourbon. And folks, we're going to put a recipe for all this good stuff right down below in the description box. Just click show more. Nice, Martha. Yeah, that's a heavy pour.
A teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of ground ginger, and just the smallest pinch of ground clove.
Just a little bit, folks, not too much. And that's it, folks. A really easy recipe. Just stir this up and you're good to go.
Okay, we're ready to put the meatloaf together. We're using 3 different kinds of meat today. We've got 2 pounds of fresh ground chuck. We've got a pound of ground pork. And then we have about a half a pound of breakfast sausage, just to add a little zing to the mix. So we're looking forward to mixing that up. First ingredient we're going to use is 3 eggs. A good rule of thumb when making meatloaf is 1 egg per pound of meat. So since we got 3 pounds of meat, we're using 3 eggs. These look like really nice eggs. I think they come from just down the road. Add those. And we're going to whisk them up well. You kind of mix all your wet ingredients up first. Add your dry ingredients. We're going to add 3/4 cup of apple cider. We're going to add a healthy dose of this barbecue sauce. Whisk this together till well combined. We're going to use about a half a cup of regular panko dry breadcrumbs. And now, just for fun, we're going to add about 1/3 cup of pumpernickel breadcrumbs. Add that to the mix. And then we have salt, pepper, and Italian seasoning. Going to add that in. And then you're going to whisk that all together. You want the dry ingredients to kind of soak up that liquid so that when you add it to the meatloaf, it's well combined. Now in this bowl, Martha's had already chopped up 2 apples, 2 onions, a couple cloves of garlic. She sauteed it in butter. And to this mixture, we're going to add the breadcrumb and egg and liquid mixture. And we're going to stir that up. Good enough to eat right now. Okay, I've been picked to mix the meatloaf because I am a chiropractor after all, and I have the magic hands. So we're going to add the 3 different meats to our apple and onion and breadcrumbs and eggs, all that goodness. We're going to add the ground beef first. Now we're adding the pork. especially this good-looking breakfast sausage. Okay, when it's time to mix the meatloaf, the first important thing is roll up your sleeves because you're going to get right into it. And guys, if you're the one mixing the meatloaf, something you have to keep in mind is that you don't want to get in there and just be rough with it. You want to take it easy and be gentle with it. It's kind of like treating your woman. You want to have a nice slow hand. In fact, Matthew, you got that music we could cue up about this time?
You want a little Conway Twitty?
Yeah, a little slow hand music.
Got it, yes sir.
Yeah, and it's kind of a folding technique. You roll it over and squish your fingers down there. Like I said, there's something really satisfying about mixing up your meatloaf. And you just want to kind of get it so it's all nicely well combined, as I say.
Boy, oh boy, that's a whole lot of meatloaf. We thought we'd make 2 batches today and that we were going to make one in our new cast iron wedge pan. Our good friend Jay over at Camp Meat Barbecue sent it to us, and we thought the best thing we could do for its inaugural cook is to make meatloaf wedges. Now we've already seasoned this, but just for good measure, because this is going to be sticky business, we're going to add a little extra lube.
And here we go. We got the wedge pan all filled up with the meatloaf. And this is an experiment, folks. We're going to put this on the kettle grill with the other pan of meatloaf. See how it turns out. Now for those of you who don't have the wedge pan, fear not, we've got you covered. We're just going to use a classic little bread pan here for our meatloaf.
Oh yeah.
This is looking really great. We got this pan filled up with meatloaf. It's ready to go on the grill. And speaking of the grill, let's talk a little bit about our setup for today. Now right over here I've got the Slow and Sear from Adrenaline Barbecue Company. I'll put a link to their website right down below in the description box. That's filled with unused charcoal from our last cook. That's fine. And right here I've got a charcoal chimney filled about halfway with charcoal. We're shooting for about 350 degrees for today's cook. So I'm thinking that charcoal chimney should be enough to get us going. So I'll see you back in a little bit when this is ready to go. All right, this charcoal's looking ready. We're gonna get that on the grill. We'll get the lid on there and let this come up to temp. All right, folks, we're back. Grill temp is at 345 degrees, so it's time to get the meatloaf on there. There's our meatloaf wedgies right there. And next Martha has the meatloaf pan. We're going to try to fit some potatoes on there. Smoke some potatoes for later. Alright, that's it. Let's get the lid back on. Let this get back up to temp. And we're just going to let it cook. We'll see you back in a little bit. We'll check on this maybe about 30 minutes. Okay folks, it's been 30 minutes. Let's lift the lid, check it out. Alright, we've got our barbecue sauce ready to go, so we're going to start glazing the top of these little wedgies here. We've got these all sauced up. Next thing we're going to do is take this pan of meatloaf here, and that looks like it's firmed up pretty nicely, so we're going to get that out of the pan and right directly on the grill. Alright, we successfully managed to get the meatloaf out of the pan in one piece, so now we're going to get some sauce on there. Oh boy, that's looking delicious, y'all. Alright, we're going to get the lid back on, and we're going to let this cook till the meatloaf hits about 175 degrees. Alright folks, it's been about 15 minutes and I think it's time to check on these little meatloaf wedgies right here. These are temping pretty good. We're going to finish these off with a direct sear. Alright, we got one out. Let's get it on direct heat. We're going to sear it off.
Maybe just a little bit saucy on there.
Alright, and once these cooked up really nice on both sides, we're just going to get those off the grill. Well, not off the grill, just going to put those on in direct heat. Let them hang out with their little friends.
They're so cute.
All right, so our little meatloaf wedgies are basically done. We're still waiting on the big Papa loaf here to finish up. That's temping at about 120 degrees, so that has a little bit of time left on it. Let's get the lid on here, and we'll check on this again in about 15-20 minutes. Folks, it's been about 10 minutes. Let's check out these little meatloaf wedges. I think they're about done. What do you think, Martha?
I think we should take them off.
Oh yeah, let's take them off of there. And you know what? We might have to do just a little sneak taste of these. All right, this one's looking pretty good. Let's see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those little wedgies were so good because of that sear, so we want to do the same thing to Papa loaf over here. And we're going to get that over direct heat and just try to sear it on all sides. All right, that's looking pretty good. We're going to spin it off of there. All right, folks, the plan is to roll it and then we're going to spin it over direct heat.
All right, all right.
There's a roll.
There's a roll.
And a spin. Just hitting that with a little bit more of that bourbon barbecue sauce, y'all. Now we seared this a couple more times. Now we want to let it continue to cook, so we're going to put the lid on and let that cook until it hits about 170, 175. Welcome back. It's been 30 minutes. We just took the temperature of this meatloaf and it hit about 167. We're going to get it off the grill now and let it rest. And during that rest, that's when it'll hit 170, which will be perfect. So I'll see you when it's time to slice this up. All right, folks, here we are, the moment of truth. This has been resting for 20 minutes. It's time to slice into it, and I can't wait to give this a taste test. All right, I'm going to get some more slices and we'll meet you up here for a taste test. All right, let's get a bite of this meatloaf and see if we've got the Meatloaf Master among us or not.
Looks good.
Oh, it looks awesome.
Smells good.
Mm-hmm. Tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Daddy used to make.
That's real good. I like that blend. I get a little bit of that sausage that we use, breakfast sausage in there. And that bourbon barbecue sauce on there is real nice. I'm going to try another taste of that.
Me
what do you
too.
think, Dad?
It's great. There's some nice smoke, not overpowering, and it goes really nice with the barbecue sauce.
That
Delicious.
barbecue sauce is real good. That Four Roses bourbon comes through real nice. We're going to have a full recipe for everything right down below in the description box. Be sure to check it out. That bourbon barbecue sauce is really good.
It's delicious.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, y'all, for hanging out today. We love you. And, Dad, why don't you take us out? Whenever you're ready.
Well, all I got to say is, until next time, smoke 'em if you got 'em.
That's right.
That's right, y'all.